Okay, so just we gone through the roles where we reviewed what roles we have and how to compare the roles. These points we have seen. Now we'll see what is the meaning of this role simulation. Okay, what we can find, how it is useful. So at present, we are asking the application as a ERPT user. Now, if you want to verify which privileges this user has access through which role, because of which role this user has specific privileges. If you want to understand, what you could do is you can go with the simulation. You can simulate the role. How to do that? So select any one of the role here, and we can go with the purchasing related or inventory related. Say inventory manager role. Okay, inventory manager. Select inventory manager role. So we'll see how to simulate. Before that, this is how here directly you could find all the details. This role consists of which other duty roles and other privileges, etc. You can find. This is just a list option. You can go with the graphical representation. Here, this is a list as a table format. You can go with the show graph. It shows the graphical representation about this role. So within this inventory manager role, these are the different direct privileges as well as duty roles we have as a part of it. Okay, so I'm just going with this role, inventory transaction management. Double click and you can just zoom in so that you can see. You can drag little up so you can find out what privileges the duty role has, which is a part of this inventory manager job role. So it has access to all those. It's more into related to print reports and all. In EBS, at the time of responsibility creation, we select the menu and we select the request group. A request group consists of reports. Menu consists of submenus and functions. But in the fusion, the reports as well as the privileges or duty roles, everything you can keep as a part of role only. Here you don't have any separate logic to maintain the reports separately. The reports and functional privileges, everything you can have as a part of role. That's how they given. It's all about we have to select. So once you assign that role to the user, whatever you have as a part of the role, that can be report access or some functional related access, everything user can connect. So this is how you can see, double click, it will get minimized. So that's how you can verify any role related privileges. Anyway, these points very detailed level we have seen as a part of compare role. When you go to compare roles, there we have option to see what exactly we have, which privileges we have as a part of that and all. Okay. From here also we have a user, this kind of graphical representation just to go through. Fine. Just zoom in. So these are the different privileges. The same way you can drag this major role. So these are the different privileges and duty roles as a part of this role. Sorry. Okay, from here also we can verify. So now my requirement is, if I go to navigator, if I go to navigator, I could see many privileges here. Say I'm not very sure these all the privileges we are getting because of which role, but at least I want to check out of this list any privileges we are able to access from this user because of this role. If you want to verify that, what you could do is you can go to actions here. Once you select the role, system will just give the same role name, role code, and description. What is the purpose of this role we have? Okay, the manager manages activities within the warehouse, such as managing the inventory transaction, planning inventory replenishment, and managing the cycles and the physical inventory counts. So this role has privileges to these areas. Now anyway, I want to simulate. So once you click on these actions here, you can find the option called as simulate navigator. Now system will compare because of this role if any item or any task is available within the navigator, it will display. Just select this simulate navigator. So here you could see, for because of this role, this user has access to which tasks you can find out. To see most of the task, it is showing as a no access. But easily you can filter here. You have a show all, say access granted. Because of this role, this for this user, access is granted for what? You can just filter. Okay, you can find out.
Lakshman, how did you get to this page? Can you please repeat again?
Yeah. So you have to select specific role. Okay. It could be inventory manager or warehouse operator, anything. So once you select the role here, the role related description, everything system will display here. Go to actions and select simulate navigator. Select simulate navigator. Now here go to the show drop down option and select the value called as access granted. That means this role, because of this role, for this user, okay, what privileges are granted. Here you could see some list, but reality, wherever you see this kind of warning sort of icon, so this almost is kind of common. Here you can find the relevant one, supply chain execution. So just click on this inventory management and click on just that. I'm not right clicking on this, directly click on this. In this mode it will open like this, since we are trying to simulate, and click on view privileges required for menu. Reality not menu, role, but Oracle did not change that term as a from menu to role. Okay, view privileges required for menu. Just click on this. It will list out all the privileges this user got because of this inventory manager role. So these are the privileges. So these are the privileges which you could see as access granted. So here few you could see correct receiving receipt, etc. Those access is not granted, but this user has access because of some other roles. That is the reason those also system is displaying, but this user has access to the relevant application for which privileges out of that, within that, for exactly which privileges user is able to access. Because of this role, it is showing as a granted. Fine. So this is how just you can check it. Same any other role you can take and you can verify. So we'll check with other role. Let's close it. Say procurement manager. So this procurement manager role also already we assigned to current user. Say simulate. Say access granted. Now because of the procurement manager, we are able to see purchase agreements task and purchase orders task within the navigator. Okay, within the navigator. So these two, and within this purchase agreement or purchase order related, which exact privileges. Okay, these two tasks, every task will have list of privileges, set of privileges. I'm just clicking on purchase orders. If I click on this, it will show these two options. I'm selecting the second one, view privileges. It will list out purchase order related exactly which privileges this user has because of procurement manager role. So these privileges. Okay, generate purchase orders, import purchase orders, many privileges, search purchase orders, create purchase orders, even import requisitions, reassign purchase document. Okay, so this is how we can verify. But role has access to which privileges that you can verify as a part of role comparison process. But because of which role the user is able to have access to which privileges that you can check directly from here as a simulation process. Same way I want to check related to this task. Click. So these are the privileges. Okay, this is how we can verify. Fine. So that's how you can perform the simulation to understand because of which role what privileges specific user has access. The other point here is, so if you want to, after going through the roles, which role has access to which privileges, and after taking the requirement from the business, which user required access to which privileges, so you have to definitely plan for creating the custom roles. To create the custom roles, so you
Lakshman, I have a question. Lakshman, let's say if I want to see, if I, let's say I want to create customer, right? And I don't know under which which job role that customer creation is available. Is there any way I can find that?
customer creation is not part of any roles. That is,
That's just an example. I'm saying, let's say, create sales order or any kind of a transaction, right? And tomorrow I want to say, okay,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to have response.
In
Yeah,
that case,
yeah.
we have to verify. If If you are aware of, okay, that's well and good. Otherwise, just we have to go through all those roles. We have seen just now, right? So here, compare roles. We taken the role comparison, we verified. So if you, when you are comparing it, is if you think it is difficult to find out some privilege whether you have or not, you export into spreadsheet. You can conduct the search.
So ultimately, we have to make a guess that it can be under this rule,
Yeah,
and then go and check those privileges, right?
exactly. Or else you have to go through the Oracle documentation,
Okay,
user
okay,
guides.
okay. And why you said like customer creation is not a part of any job role?
That is a part of implementation project. Okay, that is a part of that comes if you have a uh, project with the receivables or order management. Okay, you will get it. That is part of FSM itself. You
Okay.
don't get because of these roles which you are assigning to the user to perform the transactions.
So that means tomorrow, if I have a user who is managing the master data for customers, so they need to have application consultant role. Is that what you're saying?
No, not required. So to talk about exactly customer, the, I mean, 1 second. If you talk about customer, for customer they are giving option even in the specific roles also. Okay, that is primarily will be available as a part of implementation project. So customer, when you talk about customer, yes, that is available in the project that will be provisioned through roles also. If you take example of supplier, which we already tested, okay, that is not part
Yeah.
of the project. That is only would be available for the user access if you assign that specific role. That's how to our master data only.
Yeah.
The way how they are just allowing us to manage slightly different.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Fine. Now just we'll look at this point. How to say you got a requirement to create n number of custom roles. In that case, how to go about it. So it may be difficult to create roles from the scratch. After understanding which user required access to which privileges, then we'll select specific role which can be modified, which has very relevant privileges as a part of it. So in that case, what we do, we'll just pick one role, relevant role, and we'll make a copy, and any additional privileges required into that role we'll add it, or else what are the privileges the role has which doesn't required by the user, those will remove. We'll see that process how it works. So go to this role section and say this is a role we have. For the similar role one user required, but not with all the privileges what you could see within this, or else on top of it few more privileges, few more some reports access or some functionality access user required. So in that case, what we have to do, you should not directly edit this role. Please remember, when you are dealing with these instances, don't edit seeded role. The procurement manager is seeded role. When you can edit the role, you have your custom role, then you can go with this option called as edit role. Fine. Fine. Now just what you can do is say copy role. So in the administration part we have seen, when you make a copy of any role, the role name need to be created with which suffix that we just specified as ERP, right? Now just say copy role. We are going to copy procurement manager role. Just click on copy role. Copy top role and inherited roles. So within this procurement manager, directly whatever we access when we assign this role to any user, what as a user what we access, those all you can find with the copy top role. And copy top role and inherited roles means Even with this, when you are using this role related functionality, what are the other inherited, some interconnected roles we have, those also if you want to copy, you can use the second option. Ideally that is not required, so you can go with the copy top role only. Some inherited other roles what we have inside of this role which are connected for dependency and other purposes, those anyway it would be there. If you select this, those would get displayed but not required for us. You can go with the first option, copy top role. Say copy role. Now this role is copied. See what name system is taking: procurement manager and ERP. So this is what we given in the administration part as a suffix. System created code also. For code also it is taking ERP. We given there underscore ERP. So this is also you can set up some default suffix, or else you can override and you can write here. You can say ERP procurement manager. And this role falls under which category? The role category is procurement job role. Yes, this is a job role only. So procurement manager is job role. And is it predefined role? No. The procurement manager is predefined, but now what we are here on this page is this is a copied one. The procurement manager we copied. That is the reason you don't see this as a predefined role. Okay, done. So the description, since we are copying, ultimately with this role what privileges we are to give to the user, those you can write within the description part. You may write detail level, you may write very high level. Then click on next. Click on next and click on load inherited policies. Just click on load inherited policies. It will list out this role has access to which privileges. They are the different privileges. One second. Okay, so these are the different privileges. If you want to add any additional privileges into this, yes, you can add it. Say for example, within this role we don't have create purchase order privilege. I want to add it. So create purchase order privilege. Okay, say we don't have within this role, but I want to add it, so you can add like this. Add privilege to role. So you want to add some report into this role. All the reports you can find with the prefix of submit. I just not display. One second. I'm just filtering with only roles, privileges. Now you could see only privileges we are trying to check. All the reports. It has to display everything, but it's not fetching now. Not sure. So anyway, just here basically you have to click, just search with the submit, then it will just list out all the privileges as a reports, all the reports it will show, and from there you can select anything into the this role. Okay, and just click on next. So here we have a data security policies. So within this role level, because we are not creating this as a new, this is seeded one only, seeded one we copied. So data security policies means this role should have access to what? They didn't create within this data security policies. Those can be created at a duty role also. So it's all about connecting this role will stand at what level as a part of enterprise. Okay, that since within this we don't have no issues, we'll see in the other role. But finally we'll see how to create our custom data security policies as per our requirement based on the role. Here nothing, as a part of seed role only they didn't provide. Then click on next. So in this stage also you will be able to add the additional permissions, or else if you want to delete certain kind of privileges before finalizing this role, yes you can do it. Okay, anything, just anything, just you can select any privilege and you can delete it. And if you want to add anything from here also you can add. Okay, these are the duty roles, and these are the roles. What I'll do is I'll do simple activity. Go to security console. I'm just selecting the procurement manager. I'll just go with the simulation. Just look at the privileges. Okay, within that also no release for that. Okay. Fine, no issues. So this is a place where you can add some additional privileges or you can delete. Okay. So you can delete anything from here. And you can add another job role or duty role into this role. Okay, this is procurement manager. If you want to add the role called as procurement requester or procurement preparer, yes, that also you can do that. Procurement requester. You can add it. Okay, one role you can add into another role. And click on next. So this is which role? Job role. Job roles we can assign to the user. So if you want to assign this you can call as a custom role based on the copy function we are creating. ERP tree procurement manager that you can assign to the user. So which user you want to assign it? You want to assign to ERP tree. So select. So directly from here also you can assign the role to user as a part of role definition process. You can do it. So assign the same role you can assign to a number of users also. Then click on next. Submit and close. So this is how we can create. Now you can find the same role from here, or else if you want to assign this role to the user from the user definition level, you can do it. Now this sort of roles you can modify. If you want to edit, now this directly you can go with edit option, because this is not seeded one. With the help of seeded role, we created this custom role by using the copy functionality. Now this is the custom role. If you want to edit, you can edit this edit role. You can do any other modifications, whatever you require. Okay, this is how we can do. We'll look at a few other roles. Let's look at inventory related. So inventory manager. I'm just clicking on edit role, but I'm not going to edit. So this is a predefined role. That is the reason the system says this is a predefined role. It's enabled as a predefined role. So since this is seeded role, you don't have option to add functional security policies. Okay, here they just you can add, and you don't have option to remove. Okay, so just I'm showing that difference. What is the difference between the copied role and the direct seeded role? Okay, you can do the modifications here, but limited modifications. If you want to add some security policies, you can add, but delete option they removed. Okay, rest there is no difference. So you can notice this inventory manager role is assigned to how many users within this environment. For these many users, this role is already assigned. Within this list, our name also should be there. So we have ERP. So this inventory manager, right? We selected inventory manager, which starts with right. We are selecting with ORA inventory manager. Its prefix is ORA. When you go with that case, the functional security policies here, there is no permission in this level to do any modifications, and this level no delete option. And the other option is here. If you go back, the data security policies. Ideally, if you are creating the custom one, you'll have an option of modification. Edit option will be finding here, but since this is seeded, it's not recommended to modify. We don't have that option. And now we'll look at the same inventory manager role with a different code. Here code is INV inventory manager. Here ORA. We are selecting the second one. Now click on edit. Same as it is. So here also similar to that, no privileges to add. Click on next. So here create data security policy. We could see in that ORA also. Here no option to do the edit for this, whatever Oracle already given. Okay. Here just all the roles everywhere it will list out. So the user assignment. So if you compare this, it's both has the same permissions and for the user point of view to do the modifications, but they give an option to add. So that is the reason when we are assigning these roles to the user, you can assign any role. Both are similar, just they are giving as a two copies. So you can assign directly inventory manager to user where the code is starting with ORA, or else inventory manager where the prefix is INV. It doesn't make any difference, but just to understand, this ORA code based job role would be part of this role. You can assign this. If you assign this, this is what we required. If you assign this anyway within the inside of this role is there. So that's how it works. Now if you go to our custom one, whatever we defined, procurement manager, here we'll have a flexibility of doing any modifications. So under functional security policies, you have a functional security policies you can add, where in the what I can say, like in the seeded role you cannot do it. And here delete option also available. Once you select the item, based on that permissions you can delete it. If you click on next, here anyway they didn't provide any functional security policies by default, but still you can add it. Role hierarchy level, yes, here you have a delete option. If you want to delete something, you can delete. If you want to add other roles, you can add it. So this kind of difference you can find out if you compare with the seeded role modification with the custom role modification. Means if you are trying to modify any custom role, you will have all the privileges. If you want to modify the seeded role, very less privileges. Only the option what they are doing, they are allowing you to add something else, but they are not allowing you to remove. Because the recommendation from Oracle is, first of all, don't try to do any modification for seeded roles. Seeded roles we should not disturb. They should be available as it is. But if you want to add something to that, you can add it, but you should not do that. If you want to add, you have a role called as procurement manager, you want to add some additional privileges, don't disturb the seeded one. Make a copy of the procurement manager. Within that you may add some additional privileges. So that's how we have to deal with this. Okay, that's all about how to copy the role and how to modify. And now we'll see how to create the role from the scratch. Means here we have to create the, and I'll show you other one where you could see the functional security policies. I think we've gone through that page, but we didn't discuss. Say inventory manager. Really, we are not going to modify. Just to navigate, I selected edit. In data security policies, if you look at this data security policies, here we have to specify this role is used for which application. The application stands at what level as per enterprise structure. Accordingly, we have to provide the data security policies. Okay, this is just for inventory application purpose. That is the reason they given as a inventory organization. Okay, anyway, that I'll show you. We are going to create from the scratch one role. There you can understand. So now what we'll do is, first we'll create one duty role. First we'll create one duty role. By using that duty role, or along with that, by selecting other duty roles, we'll create the job role. So how to create the duty role and job role, we'll see. If you want to create any role from the scratch, click on create role. Okay, I want to create the role called as buyer. Also, purchase analyst is a ERP tree. Purchase analyst. Role code is ERP tree. Purchase analyst. Now, which role we want to create, job role or duty role? Duty role. So here you can select procurement duty role. Create purchase orders. Let's say just manage purchase order, means different tasks the user can perform with this role. So manage purchase orders. Creation, searching, cancellation, many other activities. Then click on next. Here you can add the function security policies. Create purchase order. Add it. So cancel purchase orders. Cancel purchase orders. Search purchase orders. Import purchase orders. Done. Here you can click on search. It will provide two records, same import purchase orders, but here out of these two, when you look at the codes, this code is ending with the OBI, this code is ending with a privilege, PRIV. This is the one we have to select to add. So that's all. So we need only these privileges only. Create purchase order, cancel purchase order, search purchase order, import purchase orders. Then click on next.
Lakshman, what is resource in there?
Here,
There is another tab there, right? The resource one.
here, this tab or other tab?
No, under function security.
See there, see based on this, okay, this tab you are talking about. So, I mean, resource means ideally here we'll assign it is already predefined and available. It will display here. Nothing to do with this here. So here we have a concept called as database resource. That is a point they are referring here. You will see here that. Okay. So data resource, it means it addresses this role need to be connected to which enterprise structure element, whether this role works at inventory organization level or ledger level or business unit level, that you have to specify. We'll see how to create it. So click on create data security policy. So so this you can create at this duty role level, otherwise directly job role level also you can create. But anyway, any level you can create. We'll see how to do that. I'll give for, since this is a purchasing related role, purchase role should have access to BU, business unit. I'll give the name as business unit access. Here resource, database resource you have to select. Database resource is business unit. This role need access to what? BU. Search for business unit. Done. Now when I talk about this role, you want to provision the access to this role for only one specific business unit, or how many business units you are going to assign to this role for all those BUs, or by default all the BUs, that you can decide based on the data set. The first option is select by key. That means you can hard code particular BU access for this duty role. That means wherever you are going to use this duty role, so that level means, see, this setup is available from the duty role as well as job role. Ideally we set a job role, so with job role level whatever the uh, configuration we do, that would be applicable for all the duty roles, but you can do both levels also. So to understand this point, so this ERP3 purchase analyst, this role need access to which BU, very specific BU, in the sense here itself you can specify. Here you have to provide the BU ID. How to provide the BU ID? How to find the BU ID? As per EBS, this is org ID. Like org ID means operating unit ID. Organization ID is nothing but inventory organization ID. Okay, here BU ID we have to find out. To find out the BU ID, you can go to the task called as manage business units. Business unit. Find our business unit. So here we could see very limited columns: name, active, location, manager. In case of EBS, for any record, if you want to see some additional fields, we have a folder show field option. Similar to that, here you can go to view and go to columns. It will list out all the columns which can be displayed for this record. So these 4 columns are displayed, and the hidden column is business unit ID that you can select. Now system will display what is the BU ID for this business unit. So this is the BU ID. Just make a note of this BU ID. One 7 3 6 3 0 1 2 7. Now here, if you want to give the access to this role for this BU, you have to provide the BU ID here. That's all. And this is related to what? Purchasing related. Anyway, the privileges already be given. What exactly, which privileges this user required. And when I talk about actions, you have to select the some relevant action from this list. It's a mandatory you have to select. So what are the privileges you have? That the privilege is specific, the relevant any one of the action you have to specify here. So for no issues, we don't have all the actions. You can select any one of the relevant. It's also related to purchasing. So, but because of this, system is not going to give any provision to this role. Already in the functional security policies, we listed exactly which privileges are required. That only system will consider. But as a mandatory, you have to select action here. So we are selecting this. So try to select the very relevant one depending on availability. So this is how we have to do. So in this, that means you are directly hard coding. For this, you are directly provisioning the BU access. But ideally, we don't do this. So what we can do is, we'll go with this option. Select by instance set. Here you can specify, so this option, access the business units for the table of, so this table for all the business unit. All the business units means you are giving access to all. For that we have other options in that. Okay, so all the business units. Now see, our requirement is for which BUs, which BUs we are assigning to this role, those BUs only user should be able to have access. In that case, you can go with this option. Access the business units for which the user is explicitly authorized. Only assigned BUs, the user should get access to this role. So in that case, you can select this condition. Okay. So you want to give access to all the
Lakshman.
business units. Yep.
So Lakshman, in case for the first option, select by key.
First
If we
option,
hard code the
all,
variable,
even you are not giving the access to business unit, how many BUs you have in the respective table or view, all views this user can have access, that is equal to again this, all values.
no. So my question is, let's say I use the first one where you gave the particular business user ID. So in case
Okay, very
in
first
that
one
case,
you are talking about. Okay.
yeah, the very first one, select by key, and then you gave that business user ID, whatever it was, right? So in that case, now because it's already aligned to one business unit, so if I give access to this particular role to a particular user, do I still need to give him data access for this role, or it will be automatically assigned?
It will be assigned automatically. Already we are mapping that. But we generally
Okay,
don't
so
hard code like this, because if you create one duty role or job role, that we can be ideally be used for multiple users for multiple business unit, and if required in multiple countries operations also, right? So
yeah, so but let's say
yeah,
if the
how
requirement,
functionality
if
works.
our concept.
Yeah, how functionality works to understand. Yes, that is a point. If you provide here, it will directly this BU will have access wherever you have access to this duty role. There, this BU will be available. Again, you don't need to provision the access separately.
So
Okay.
if we have just one business unit, then this is the way we should do it,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
If we have just one
It is
business
not
unit.
required. We don't do in this way. Even if you have one business unit, also ideally you will create the roles. So we go with that process only. Again, later if you want to do some changes, again coming back to this section and all, it's a big task. So if you
Okay.
are doing that provisioning through data access for users, it is easy to manage also.
Okay.
This
Okay.
option is available, but it's not at all recommended to use.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah. Hey, Lakshman, this is Kalyan.
yep.
Quick question. Sorry, I missed last 5 minutes. I had some intermittent connectivity.
Okay,
So
okay.
if at all, I have to make a role as a inquiry role because I get a lot of requests where the user should just be seeing the viewing the transactions, but they should not be able to do any transactions. Did you cover that one, or can you please help me understand how to go about it?
In the actions, you want to select view only.
Yeah.
The actions you'll have a view only. So that action you can enable as a view only, then the user will be able to have a read only access for this entire role. What are the privileges you are listing out?
Uh, where, Lakshman? In the actions, the manager requisition in the same thing?
Yeah, in the here you can find read only option, view only. This list you can find view only privilege. That is just only one you have to enable. Remaining you don't need to enable. Just only view only you have to enable. Then that will work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. So these are the points to understand. If you want to hard code this role access to specific BU, provide the BU business unit ID. We have seen from how to capture the business unit ID, how to find. And other option is if you want to allow this user to whom you are assigning this role through job role, only that user assign roles only. If you want to provision, this is the option you can select. And other options by looking at those naming that statements you can understand. And if you want to give access to all the BUs, yes, this is the option you can use. Instead of using this option, even you can use this option also. All values. All values means all BU values. Okay, all BU values. So that's how you can just understand. I'm just going with this. Say okay. Role hierarchy. The same like whatever the role name you given here. Here you could see the same system is taking out of this definition how many roles are there, the one which we are defining. If you want to add some additional roles into this, yes, you can do that. So since this is a duty role, you cannot assign to the user. That is the reason add user tab is disabled. Click on next. Now say save and close. Now we'll create the job role. Within the job role we'll include this duty role, so that the job role can be assigned to the user, so that user will be able to access to this duty role which is part of the job role. Now we'll see how to create the job role. So I'm writing the name as ARP3 PO job role. Select role category as a job role. write something, you can write it. Already clearly we mentioned within the duty role what are the privileges are required. Here you may write the same. You may just group multiple duty roles also into this job role. Now here you can add that duty role. What's the duty role name? ERP3 purchase analyst. So within that we have 4 privileges. Select. So the same privileges system will list out here. So listing out those 4 privileges which are from duty role. The next here this level also the same security policies you can specify. Okay. You may not specify at the duty role level. Okay, you have to specify at the job role very primarily. There if you want to specify or else ignore. But here you have to specify. Okay, sorry. We didn't select database resource name. So BU access. If role is related to inventory, you have to select. You may write the policy name as inventory access. Database resource will select inventory organization. 1 second, it is not responding properly. Yeah, now it is opening the field. We say like only for authorized BUs, which BUs we assign to this role, those BUs only can be accessed from this role. Based on the role which you create, look for a very relevant one and you can assign. But any one also you can assign, it will work because it based on this system is not going to have any behavior based on what you listed here as the privileges or duty roles. Those only system will consider. Just say okay. Next. This level you may include even this level also function security policies. This level also you can add one more duty role or else one more job role within this job role. Possible. You can do it. Directly you may assign this role to the user from here itself. Next and say finish. Save and close. So definition time itself we assigned roles. So the same you can see for this user. Go to user. So ERP3 PO job. ERP3 PO procurement manager job. Earlier one. Okay. And those two we assigned the same you can see. So the next step you know, right? Just through data access for users for these roles you have to assign the business unit depending on the role. If it's inventory related role, inventory organization. If business unit related, business unit we have to assign. So this is how just we can manage with the roles. Any questions to understand this role related customization, please? Here.
So Lakshman, I still didn't see, like, if I, let's say, if I want to see all the inventory roles, like we have seen that in the compare we can see all those things, but is there any way we can export all the roles related to procurement or inventory or any other offering, like where we can export it?
Roles you want to export?
Yeah, like this procurement manager, procurement requester, and all those. So if you have to download, like export in a sheet and share with the
No,
business users.
we don't see that option to export here. They are giving all these roles. We don't see here the spreadsheet option to export.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And is there any way, let's say,
Because
if tomorrow I
point
want.
is simple. Like when you are dealing, there won't be too much of roles. That is the reason. That could be the reason they didn't provide
Okay,
for
okay.
any offering. Yeah. Yeah. Please, you are asking something.
And the other thing is, let's say, so today, if I want to see, okay, so how many people are using inventory super user rule, right? We can go and we can search, right? Is there any way we can find here?
That we have seen. Like once you go to the role, you can click on just edit, and you can go to that section called as assigned. There you can see how the role is assigned to how many resource.
But we cannot again export that, right?
We cannot.
Export that.
No. We don't see that export option over there, right?
Yeah, so is the how usually this is handled, like that it happens, right? For control purpose, business can say, okay, can you give me a list of
That
inventory
way
users?
simply we can prepare some custom report by writing the query
Okay.
from the table. We have seen, I think, yesterday BI we have seen class. No,
Uh,
I think that is a different batch.
there were
We,
oh, there were no class.
yeah, we will have a just session on that how to write the SQL query. It's all about writing
Okay,
the
okay,
SQL query from the BI catalog. So different
okay, okay,
access we can have from BI catalog only, which is given for report development purpose. From there only you can write the BI query. You can just write a query to fetch the data from that you can convert into report output with a PDF or Excel or any other option. That's how you
okay,
do that. Yeah.
okay. Okay. And actually, I have a question which is not related to role but to something else. Should I wait for till the end of the session, or
Yeah, I
should
will
I ask?
discuss in the end of the session if it is not related to the session.
Okay,
Previous session.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone, please? I think we covered all this action. Edit means don't edit seeded, and a copy role we tested, compared, done. Yes. Okay, for testing also, please don't edit roles because when we are using the class or if somebody is practicing, that will have impact. Don't try to edit. Don't try to add also, but to remove Oracle, just keeping some restriction. In the previous versions, no. The previous versions they are allowing, but in this latest versions, you could see that they set a control where you cannot remove, but still they are allowing to do the additional to add the additional privileges into seated roles also. Fine. Any questions from anyone, please? Fine. No questions.